Good morning. Good morning, GM, everyone. Welcome to another episode of FOMO Hour. Today, Friday, March 7th, 2025. And it is a huge day. Absolutely huge. Yesterday was an incredibly important day for Bitcoin and the broader crypto space. I don't want to take credit for it, but folks, I saw the sign. The universe sent me the SBR sign. And then it came to fruition. Trump dropped the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve executive order last night. Now, all eyes turning to his speech and the crypto summit later today. The question on everyone's mind, is it going to be sell the news or will it live up to the hype? We're going to break it all down on today's show. We've got Farouk on and off with us. He's our boots on the ground reporter live from DC. So we're going to try to check in with him. But we've got the other co-hosts in the house as well, Mando and Logan. Mando, GM, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Very good. It's a big day.
Yeah, I think we called this Bitcoin Reserve relatively well, I think, right?
Very well.
On yesterday's show, we basically said exactly what was going to happen, and the market freaked out and then seemingly is okay.
The market freaked out and then realized they were all being idiots. And that, maybe this is still actually a bullish thing.
Yeah.
So a very swift recovery, which you love to see. Then we've got Besant coming out and saying he wants the markets to break more. So we're going to talk about that and how to balance this. But before we get there, Logie, you're on with us here today as well. Just in case we need some additional support with Farouk in and out. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing well. The sun is shining here. Price is a little bit of green, and it's pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah, I'm wearing green today, all green. Just so happy to see it on the board. Farouk, he's on with us, folks, live from DC. How you doing?
Dude, let me take you guys through where I am right now. Hold on. No, it's not the White House, y'all. Not yet. Look at the monument.
Man.
Look at that beauty.
Yes.
America.
Proof of America.
USA. I'm chilling, man. Just got off the phone with our girl, Eleanor Tourette. We're gonna go meet with her. She's like the GOAT crypto writer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I headed to the White House for noon to be fucking sick.
Oh, you actually are going?
Yeah, they just called. That's why I got off yesterday.
Wow.
So I was meant to go there yesterday too, guys. And I ended up waiting outside for an hour and a half. And it was 3 degrees Celsius. And I lost mobility in my left hand for like 4 hours because I went without a jacket because it was across the street. And so basically the Secret Service had my dates mixed up because on my passport it's September 7th, but I'm French, so it's set like 7/9/94. So they had it July 9th instead of September 7th. And the Secret Service don't fuck around. If the numbers don't match the front door, you ain't getting in.
Yeah.
So we're going today. It'll be exciting.
We don't
feel like you're going to get a second. You're going to get a second look at yourself, Farouk. Iranian origin guy walks into you're French Canadian when you want to be.
I'm gonna go fix those tariffs. That's what I'm going for.
No. So what is happening? You're going to the White House at noon today?
Yeah. So yesterday, we'll make a post about this later on, but I guess we can talk about it on the show a little bit today. But basically, we got appointed a hard pass to the White House. So I don't want to make a crazy claim, but I do think we're the only right now, as of today, media outlet in crypto that has a hard pass at the White House, which allows for one of our reporters to have full access to the White House for the next 4 years and to cover, all things media in the White House. So we're going to be focused on crypto as well. So I got approved for that. But given that I don't live in Washington or the area, and that I'll probably be moving to Portugal soon, I don't want to put that to waste. So Sander from Decrypt is going to be our White House correspondent. So we have a White House correspondent on the Decrypt side now that's going to be there all the time. On my end, they offer me to get into temporary passes. And so we've known for 3 weeks about yesterday, or a month even. But then so happens that there was this tweet come out about the crypto summit being today, which is like a coincidence. It's like divine timing. And so, we made a few calls, sent a few emails, finagled our way in. So normally, please, if everything goes well, I don't want to jinx myself, we should be in the room, not for the summit itself, because that's very private, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm of the caliber yet. But there will be a point where President Trump signs executive orders, as you guys seen. It's not even a secret anymore because it was posted yesterday. And apparently, there's a short list of people which could be us, will be able to come in and like witness that and be there for that, and then potentially also be in the press or briefing room for whoever wants to do interviews after. So there's a chance we interview Bo Hines, there's a chance we interview David Sachs. Like, it's up to them if they feel like it. Even like Brian Armstrong, like all these folks that are there, if they want to, they'll be able to come to the presser. So we'll be in the room, man. I'm excited. Like, we'll be in the room for this historical day. Like, it's crazy.
Huge day. I mean, arguably one of the single biggest days, right?
I mean, to me, it's massive. That's why last night I didn't understand what went on, but I know you'll talk about that. But yeah, it's historical day today. Definitely, it's a great day for crypto.
Well, we're so happy that you're there. We're happy that you're taking time away to talk to us, folks. What are we talking about on the show here this morning? We're going to start with the market report, jobs, the latest comments from Scott Bessent, Nasdaq trading 24/7. We're going to get into Trump signing the strategic Bitcoin reserve. What does it mean? Buy the news, sell the news. Predictions for the summit today. Texas passed its own SBR bill through the Senate. New York drafting a bill to go after rug pullers. Watch out. Jito buyback proposal on the table. Tucker Carlson interviewing SBF. Myriad. We're gonna drill into those Myriad money markets, baby, because they are officially live. And maybe a little bit of meme talk at the end. Before we dive in, shout out to our partners. Galaxis is a Web3 platform empowering creators and brands to build unstoppable communities with full ownership and independence, trusted by icons like Donald Trump, Steve Aoki, Mike Tyson, and the NBA, shaping together the future of engagement. And Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect is the connectivity network shaping the future of on-chain UX. If you've connected to a Web3 app, you've seen Wallet Connect. That blue logo, it's everywhere. An icon of trust in crypto, as recognizable as Visa at checkout. If you want to learn more, follow at Wallet Connect on X and Telegram to stay ahead of what's next. We love our partners as always. All right, Mando, if you're ready, let's get into it.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
GM, everyone. So I think we already said, we kind of called all of this yesterday, right? Like we called what we thought would happen. We said that, it'd be very difficult for them to do anything other than just confiscate. They can't spend. And that's kind of what we got. We got they're not going to sell any of the confiscated Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to be slightly different than the crypto stockpile. I don't really know how that's going to work. In the past, I thought that potentially those L1s could donate funds to the stockpile, and maybe like in return, the US becomes a validator. I don't know, but like there's maybe some options down the line for that. And we got commentary that they were going to potentially look further at like fiscal neutral ways of building this reserve. And there are a few different things mentioned there. The first one was like selling gold. They haven't yet touched upon the mining stuff that I've kind of spoken about, but it does seem like that could also be on the table, in my opinion. But they basically are saying anything that is confiscated, we're going to keep. And they're going to look at fiscal neutral ways. So my guess is that they're going to get into mining. That's my guess here, which I think will be bullish in general. We have some validation here of what's going on, but it's not them going to buy. At the same time, the states I think will start buying. So you had Texas yesterday. Looks like it's very ready now to go with a Bitcoin reserve. I think we're going to see a lot of states do this. I would probably guess in the realm of like 15 to 20 states could do something like this. A few of them have been shot down already, but we could be in a world where like half or nearly half of all the states out there have some form of a Bitcoin reserve policy. And then I think the second order impact is legitimizing this even more for companies and for starting that sort of global game theory from other countries that might be easier to buy Bitcoin, or might be less reliant on their own native currency. There's a lot of countries with not great local currencies, and they have dependency on the dollar, and they may choose to go down the route of Bitcoin being their reserve asset. So I think what you've really just started there is, yes, short term disappointing versus what you may have had on TikTok, but long term bullish for if you're like paying attention, I think. So yeah, I think it generally should be taken positively what we saw yesterday. On the back of it, Bitcoin has outperformed pretty massively. We had a terrible day in the stock market again yesterday, and even today it doesn't look that great. Like, it's bounced slightly. NVIDIA was down 6%, I think, yesterday. It's bounced up 1% today. But they kind of look like relief bounces across the board. And you know, the Nasdaq was down 3% yesterday. It's only up 0.2% today. This has the hallmark to me of a Friday sell-off in macro again. People freaking out. Obviously, the commentary that you've hinted upon, Tyler, is there's been very, very direct commentary from various people in the Trump administration talking about the fact that they don't care about the stock market. They've got a job to do here, which whether the stock market likes it or not. And it changes the tone of Trump tweeting about the stock market every single week of the last administration. Yesterday he went on, he was asked about it. He said, I don't even look at it anymore. So he said, globalists have caused the sell-off. So yeah, I think he's not as focused on it this year. And we've spoken about how that, that may not even be the worst policy for him from a general popularity standpoint. He might win over short-term voters with this sort of approach of looking after the future with trying to balance the budget, that sort of stuff. So let's see. It definitely might be like an age gap in how his popularity wanes. But yeah, macro is really not feeling good on the back of that. We've had some weak economic data yesterday again, one of the weakest jobs figures since 2020 yesterday. Europe is currently going through this like semi-bond crisis because of what's going on in the fiscal spending to kind of, everyone's talking about an arms race now in Europe. So like all of the Western European powers are talking about spending a ton of money now to do that. It's definitely gotten people relatively afraid there. And I think this is just seeping around the world right now. Like there's just uncertainty, and that's causing stuff to go lower. But in terms of crypto, we had Bitcoin outperform, really. In particular, L1s have held up okay. Like Solana held up okay. Pretty much all the L1s, they're within like 1% of where they were yesterday. Like, it's not been like a crazy move. But the more risky bits of the market are getting punished at the moment. AI, memes, whatever attempts there were at rallies in those have been kind of smashed back lower. The strongest stuff I see is in DeFi and in L1s at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, I was looking at the AI board. My God, it is destroyed.
Yeah.
ARK was basically 100 million. Virtual's now below 500 million. And the thing is, it's like, those are still pretty high numbers. So sadly, and I still hold some of these, like there's more room to fall, unfortunately. And it's kind of hard to see what the catalyst there is. Well, there's a lot to unpack with your report. Thanks for going through that, Mando. Maybe I want to quickly talk about the Scott Bessent comments.
That was the other thing you mentioned. SPF goes into. We can get onto that.
Yeah, we'll have to get into the SPF interview here in a bit. I did listen to about 30 minutes of that. Put myself through the pain. But I feel like Bessent comes out every day now. He just keeps telling us that the markets need more pain. Now he's saying like there's going to be a detox period, and like I'm as bullish as anyone, and like I want to see everything like rebound swiftly, but it's kind of hard to imagine that playing out. Like it feels like they're telling us like we're going to keep, breaking things here. Like we're going to drive this down. We want rates to come down, and then we're going to try to reset everything. Like, is that you? Like, how long is it going to last? Like how is anything going to really outperform in that scenario?
I think we spoke about this before, like the fact they may be kind of sandbagging the first half or the first year, and then maybe that leads to like more monetary stimulus down the line. I think that's kind of the world we may be living in here, in that they don't mind bringing this period of austerity, focusing on the 10-year, and then in a year's time, they think the US will benefit from it largely. That's basically what they're doing. There's certain things that are happening here which are kind of pro-Trump. Getting the budget balance, so to speak, is bringing down bond yields in the US. Bringing down bond yields in the US has made the dollar weaker. That's been one of Trump's number one things he wanted to do alongside the stock market going up. And the dollar weaker means better trade balances, which is kind of a very core bit of his belief system, that he wants to kind of re-energize the manufacturing base of the US and get better trade balances with all their major partners. So, there's a few things here which I think he is happy to keep going for a while. As long as the economy doesn't like die and it's just the stock market, he won't particularly. This is Trumponomics, right? This is what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. So, and I think they're okay. They are broadly okay with that. It's less. It's probably less friendly to like big tech or multinationals. But the idea is that this could maybe change the makeup of the US in certain ways. And it's kind of like when a football manager comes in. They're going to shake stuff up at the start, but he's got 4 years, so he's kind of like trying to build a team for the future. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think he's okay to like destroy it at the start and kind of see what happens.
On paper, it makes sense. I think conceptually, a lot of people would be okay with that, but then there's also just like the near-term pain, and if his approval rating starts going down swiftly as markets are dipping, like, are they going to be able to hold the course for how long, and how long is this going to last? I think that's the big question right now.
What has it, like, his approval rating, I saw the other day, hit an all-time high, right, in the start of February. I agree. Look, if the stock market keeps on going down, that's generally not a good sign for a US president. But I think we can all agree that the stock market has been largely detached from life.
True.
For people in the US. And that's been one of the main issues here, is that like that it's been a years and years of fiscal and monetary stimulus, trillions of that, and that's largely just led to higher asset prices, which has led to this like massive disparity and perverse incentives, I think, particularly for like some of the bigger companies out there. So I don't know if he'll lose approval rating doing this. Like, I really don't. I think it's not great to see, Nasdaq's down 25%, but I think what you're really just going to hurt there is people who have blindly just been like, yeah, I own US stocks forever. Like, that's the trade. Feels like that's going to be slightly questioned here. I don't know, but it could always come back. Like in a year's time, we could be in a situation where you have I wouldn't say I don't know if they'll be able to balance the budget in the first year, but like probably one of the best budget deficits the US had in a long time. And you could be in a world where monetary policy comes in, because it's been very restrictive for the last 2 years, 2.5 years now. And then you start to see rates get cut. You start to see maybe not QE, but QE by another name. And Trump basically calls upon them to not bail out the economy, but basically bail out the stock market.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's kind of my base case. It's just a matter of when and timing, and how is it going to play out? Logie, I'm curious for your thoughts on all this. Boots on the ground in Pennsylvania. Are folks okay? Like, are folks-
Nobody, yeah, nobody here in central Pennsylvania is talking about the stock market. You mainly see the tweets about the price of eggs type thing. So nobody's complaining too much. I don't actually know the approval rating and haven't been following the fluctuation and such, but nothing would shock me if it's not moved higher. Right. People don't, at least the people I'm interacting with, are not paying attention to the stock market because they're not really invested in the stock market. But I think the larger thing for me, I mean, I don't have much to share beyond what Mando has in terms of the macro impacts. But the thing that's harder for me, I'm seeing on my timeline a little bit more, is just trying to rewire my own brain to understand that they are beating us over the head with this thing. Tolks has been tweeting about it, about, Bessen's comments. Like, they're telegraphing this. They've said this. Trump tweeted it or posted on Truth Social or whatever. There would be short-term pain. And we keep looking for reasons for there not to be. And because we want there not to be, right? We want the prices to go up every single day. And I'm struggling a little bit with myself, just getting myself to rewire a little, to expect and be okay with it. And I do have a very, try to have a much longer term outlook on Bitcoin and things like that. But it's hard when you log in here every single day. I saw something from Alex Good about, like, can there be an obvious bear market? Like, those types of thoughts are just starting to permeate my timeline a little bit more. And I'm trying to just come to grips with it and understand and not overreact in either direction, to the bullish or the bearish. You may have seen tweets from me recently about, it's our on crypto, Twitter particularly, like, we are either overly bearish or overly bullish. There's no in between. And I'm just trying to put myself a little bit more in the middle. And I know the mid curve is not always the place you want to be here. But for the time being, I think it might be a place where you want to start drifting, just at least for the time being. So that's what I'm trying to do personally.
Logie, Max bearish. You heard it here first, folks. No, I'm with you. I feel like that's a logical place to be. Well, let's talk about the crypto news. Mando gave us a nice summary of it. But Trump did sign the executive order. Once again, they're going to hold the Bitcoin that they've acquired via forfeitures. It does not it does not mandate net purchasing, but they are allowed to do budget neutral accumulation. So I didn't have a ton of time this morning. I was trying to kind of come up with, like, what does that look like? What are potential budget neutral strategies where they could acquire? I think that's where a lot of our heads went. Mando, you've been talking about mining. I actually don't know. Is that technically budget neutral? Because that would require
it would probably be done alongside somebody. Maybe it would be some subsidy in some way in response as well, like on electricity, let's say. There was somebody came out with a tweet. Potentially fiscally neutral methods. Continuing judicial confiscation, we obviously know that. Selling gold for Bitcoin, I think there's going to be almost a 0% chance of that happening. Using other fiscal revenues. I don't know what that means. Interestingly, I don't know if you saw, but Lotnik came out yesterday, and we were talking about the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and Lotnik said, we will not be using any tariff income to fund the Sovereign Wealth Fund.
Okay.
So I continue to not know
how's it funded,
how they're going to fund that, apart from with debt. And I don't know how they would fund purchases of, like, other fiscal revenues, whatever that means. Mining Bitcoin with underutilized resources. This would be the obvious one, like, in my opinion. So, for example, we build a hydroelectric dam, or we are going to find some, we'll provide you with cheap energy. You pay us in Bitcoin, to these miners. There'll be some deal, I reckon, down the line with some of the biggest Bitcoin miners. Accept Bitcoin for tax payments or fines, deposit in the reserve, and avoid selling. So yeah, this would similarly be that. So, like, maybe they'll just start taxing the miners in Bitcoin, or they'll start charging crypto firms in Bitcoin. So something like that. That would be an obvious one. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So do you see what I mean? Like in terms of the actual ones that are actually seem possible, it's about mining or taxes being paid in some way via Bitcoin.
Yeah. I think those are two of the most likely. The gold swap is an option on the table, but anything that requires Congress approval feels like it's going to be a huge stretch. And
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a tougher fight. The cheese swap is a very interesting one. So Matt Seigel shared that the U.S. apparently has about $2 to $4 billion of Swiss cheese in Missouri caves, which they are able to sell. So the cheese to Bitcoin swap is on the table, folks.
We should be shorting Swiss cheese.
I'm not
Is it
long.
2 to 4 billion, did you say?
That's their numbers. I'm quoting the Van
How
Eck.
much?
We've got 1.4 billion pounds of cheese in these Missouri caves, folks.
US is a strange place. So they
This could be a sick heist. This could be a sick heist. Boys, hear me out.
I used to trade a company called Iron Mountain. I don't know if you guys ever heard of
Yes,
this?
I'm very familiar with Iron Mountain, actually.
Yeah. And they own well, actually it's not close to where you are. But Iron Mountain used to be a high yield bond issuer, which I used to trade, and they own an iron mountain essentially in the US, and they hold a lot of the random storage of US assets in there. This is also where I think this is where Elon's been complaining about, it's like to get into it is like
They can do like 3 times per day, and it's just like this very manual and time intensive process.
Yeah. Iron Mountain has underground storage facilities in the United States, but most of them in storage location in Dayton, Massachusetts, was once a missile storage battery during the Cold War. Its best known one is in Pennsylvania. So that's the actual Iron Mountain itself. It's like literally in a mountain of iron. And I would be unsurprised if you do, like, you have random agricultural stores. So like generally every major economy has like a emergency grain supply, an emergency rice supply,
Right.
in case something happens. At least like most of the G20 do. And I reckon there's some pretty random stuff like Swiss cheese that maybe the US holds. I didn't know it had 4 billion of it. Like that is wild. Who's the buyer?
That's a good question too. Well, Farouk, I know we may have limited time. Like, what's the boots on the ground, like whispers? What are people expecting for today? Do you think we're gonna get any surprises? What's the read on what's gonna happen at the summit?
I don't know. I'm gonna try and find out in a couple hours. I'm gonna go there like a few hours earlier, but nothing right now. Like so far, like I had dinner with Ivan yesterday night from MoonPay. He founded MoonPay. And he was at the CFTC summit. So basically, like it's kind of like an NFT conference where there's like a ton of side events, right? And so yesterday there was like a CFTC side events with like Paolo from USDT, Ivan from MoonPay, etc. And everyone's, bro, honestly, like it's weird because I texted that to Mendo. I think like yesterday there was like max bearish timeline, but like around me was like max bullish, like events and people. Like I'd just gotten off dinner and like Ivan was like he was extremely bullish about the future of like the United States and crypto with regards to like the CFTC, the SEC, etc. So I don't know what's going to happen today, but I wouldn't like have crazy expectations, right? Because you guys have talked about this over and over again. Like we knew they can't just buy Bitcoin, but for some reason yesterday some people saw that bad news that they're holding 1% of their Bitcoin, of the total Bitcoin supply. So I don't know. I wouldn't expect anything other. What's interesting though is that they did say last week, I think David Sachs, that to expect news at the Digital Asset Summit. And we all thought that it was going to be the executive order for the reserve. But that happened last night. So I just wonder what happens today. Yeah.
There's a headline hitting the tapes right now saying there'll be no tax benefits announced at this.
So it could be the... Yeah,
which, again, we said yesterday they can't do, so I don't know what we're talking about. But
yeah. I mean, I don't know what they expect from a roundtable conversation. Like this is, and David Sachs even doubled down on saying like, yo, we're not inviting a lot of people because it's like a roundtable closed doors conversation about the future of crypto in America.
Right.
So I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know.
With L1s, like, I don't know if you know, but like Google is a validator on Solana, right? Google never bought any Solana. Google was given Solana to be a validator on the node. And that's the case. You sometimes see that with a lot of big tech companies. They are given validators, given enough to be a validator, essentially. I would be very unsurprised if this, with the L1s, it was more like the US is going to be a validator on AVAX. I don't know if that's bullish or not, but I think that would be a very easy thing that would be possible, because they would, all these L1s kind of know how to do it, and they've done it alongside, big tech companies in the past. There could be, as you said, Tyler, some light. I don't think anything concrete. Some light concepts of, we are going to work alongside these blockchain companies for Doge efficiency stuff, or think about ways to partner them with financial institutions or something like that. Something vague, but there. But I can't see much concrete coming out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I think that's fair. Part of me thinks we're going to get a surprise today, but in general, it is just a roundtable.
There's an order being signed at 3. I know for sure that during the summit, there's a 15-minute period in the middle where Donald Trump's coming to speak, because that's the period where I'm allowed to go in.
Okay.
And like some of the press. So there's the summit. There's a 15-minute break in between where Donald Trump's coming to speak, obviously, because he wants to speak to these founders, right? And then yesterday night, there was a 3 years of alpha breaking news that like there's going to be at 2:45 or 3 p.m. today an executive order, right? Trump to sign executive orders at 2:30 p.m. on Friday. Then Trump to deliver remarks at the White House Digital Summit at 3 p.m. So maybe that's not it, all of it yet.
Maybe not. We
Maybe
will
not.
be tuning in at 3 p.m. That is a must-watch event at this point in time. I also just want to quickly, I'm sharing this Alex Belitis tweet here that David Sachs also reposted. And one of the reasons why I really liked the announcement yesterday is that it's basically FUD-proof, right? Like, they're not using taxpayer dollars. They're going to keep what they have and then evaluate ways to potentially accumulate it that's not going to cost anyone anything. And like how are you going to FUD that? Like, unless you just hate Bitcoin in general. But even if you hate it and don't believe in it, like, it's not impacting you in any way. And they also addressed the other assets, which was the biggest reason why like half of CT turned Max Bear on Monday, because it was crony capitalism. And they said, hey, no, we're not going to buy any of that. And yes, we're going to have a stockpile. If we seize it, if anyone forfeits it, we're going to keep that. But hey, we're not going to go out and buy it. I am curious what that means for some of those other assets, like XRP.
I would short the fuck out of XRP and ADA. Like yesterday, there was like the best up. Like people were trying to short Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is like the most strong asset here to own, obviously, because of reserve. But XRP and ADA that have been paying their way into the White House, that's a fact, right? Like through lobbying and XRP especially, etc. It's those coins, they're not good. They specifically said we will not be buying tokens in the stockpile. And what people miss is saying that the Treasury could potentially buy Bitcoin. So it's like, so what? So we were bearish on Monday, we meaning the timeline, because it was going to be a stockpile of multiple assets. Then we got confirmation to executive order that Bitcoin is going to be held and can be bought, and that other assets will not be bought, and we're still bearish. Like, honestly, like, it's starting to piss me off. Like, I just don't understand anymore. I'm so confused.
I had to come out and write a post yesterday. Like, I saw people bearish on the concept of the reserve and how it diminishes Bitcoin or perhaps changes the initial vision. So I shared some thoughts. I don't understand it. Like, ADA is a great looking short here. Like, why would it not just reclose the gap from 60? Especially, we talked about the bearish tailwinds from Besant. So like, if you already think the market's probably going to be in for a period of chop and decline anyway, then shorting some of the assets that pumped on what is effectively fake news seems fairly interesting here. And I'm not really a guy who goes short too much, but that's something that I'll take a look at for sure. Folk, I don't know how much longer we have you on, so I want to make sure we hit the Myriad news. Huge news, baby. Myriad money markets are live. We've got three markets out there. You bet with USDC on abstract on the Myriad app. We've got will pump funds cumulative revenue exceed 615 million by the end of March. Fear and greed index at 25 or above on March 10th, and then a UFC fight tomorrow night, Pereira versus Ankalev, which is a pick'em, so very interesting fight to start with. Fear and greed index was the market that I went after first, so I have made my bet. Disclosure: I'm on the yes side. Got in around 54%, so I'm up. I'm up a nice little 30% here. I checked in on that fear and greed index. It is 34.
Yeah, that's a generous line, huh? That's a generous line at the 25.
Are you on any of these, Farouk?
I can't take the bets here
Okay.
right now. But if I were to take them, the fear and greed index, I actually don't know about the 25, bro, because I know we went to 36, but that was before last night's mega bearishness. Like that was before the dip that the fear and greed index reset. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're back in the 20-25 range.
It's very possible, yeah. And markets may nuke. And real quick, rollback code is markets today, folks.
There you go, markets. Raffleball.xyz. Get. We're doing 2 spins, right? I'll stay for the spins. But basically, like, I don't know. I helped pick this market for the reason that I thought 25 is the perfect middle ground. So I have no idea. I want to say over, but it's so weird. It's so tough, you know.
Yeah,
I want to say over.
I like my side on the over, but we have to fade a big market sell-off today and like a total sell the news event at the summit.
What do you think, Logan? What do you got?
Yeah. I also can't use the markets, but I think I would be on the over. I think I'd be on the over as well. Already like healthily above at this point in time. I can't imagine. I don't have anything to support this, but I can't imagine the fear and greed index moves that volatilely on weekends. But that's totally anecdotal. I have no evidence to support that. That's me making that up in my head. So you have a few days remaining.
Let's study last weekend. Last Friday was 10. And then it went to, I think, guys, you're right, Logan. Usually fear and greed index is not supposed to be volatile, by the way. It's not supposed to be. But last week, remember we went to 78? It was last Friday, 78K Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Fuck this
I
market,
don't know
man.
what
It's
day
so
it is
insane.
ever.
I think it was.
Logan, so last Friday we went to, because the Friday before that was 99. Yeah.
March 4th. Well, that was Monday. We were 84K like this time last week and rebounding.
Yeah. So it was 10, the fear and greed index. And then it went to 30 something. Then it went to 20. Then it went to 15. Then it went to 24. Like it's been insanely volatile, but it's not supposed to be. But I think you guys are right. I think the over is probably going to hit here.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's an interesting one.
Jumped 9 points in a day. I guess I was just expecting the moves to be a little bit
more gradual.
Smaller.
They're not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like this. Like, this is how fucked this market is.
These are very volatile markets. I mean, we got the U.S. signed a strategic Bitcoin reserve yesterday, so that should alleviate fear a little bit.
No,
like
1% of the total supply is owned by United States of America, and people are bearish.
Yeah, it's absurd. I like this pump fund line. I have not bet on this. I am gonna bet it. I think I'm gonna take the under on this. So you're basically, it's the line is will pump funds cumulative revenue exceed 615 million. I think it's already at like 580 or something. So if you do the math, it's basically, are they going to come out? Are they going to keep are they going to underperform their local average? Or are they going to overperform their local average?
Is this based on the price of Solana? Because that's another wrinkle as well.
That is, no, it's on part of this. Because that's how they generate revenue.
Right. Yeah, but they would earn X amount of SOL, and if SOL dumps $20, like that matters, you know. So I don't know the math. I'd have to look at the daily stuff, but there's a little wrinkle in there that might be able to give you an edge. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But they're making $1 million. They're making about $1 million a day.
Right. They're making $1 million a day right now. So you're betting, are they going to keep that up for the next 2 weeks? Or do you think
this market closes on March 25th, but the resolution is from what they make by March 31st, like the whole month. The reason you close it earlier is because then it's too easy to game. If you go all the way to the end, people can like drain the liquidity. And we're testing with 3 different markets. So there's a reason why some of our markets close before, just to keep some uncertainty. Because we have to provide liquidity for all these markets. It's crazy. Launching prediction markets in USDC, guys, is like such a big lift. Like we have to provide, we have to see liquidity for those. But there's going to be, you'll see where it gets fun and people can read between the lines, but there's going to be a world where like people are going to be able to provide liquidity for markets with APYs and different things. So this is going to grow. Like this is just the beginning. I'll take the over, man, because it's the end of March.
We're seeing a little rebound.
They're making $1 million to $1.3 million a day. There's quite a lot of days left to March. There's 24 days, so 20. And all you need is one runner for them to really cook, or like a meme, like a Please moment, right? Like where like there's 1 million of them. And if the end of March, you said one of your quants is seeing some pumps at the end of March, Tyler, at some point or something like that. But I don't know. I'll take the over.
My M2 quant says we're going to bottom on March 25th.
So if we mark the bottom, then you have a week of degeneracy left in March. I'll take the over here. I'll take the over.
Right.
Yeah,
you heard it here first, folks.
I like the over too. I think we are at like near peak pump fund FUD and token launch FUD, and just exhaustion. And if there are still like close to on pace, like Farouk said, I think it takes just a few runners, and we're starting to see some, right? You saw Please. I mean, it's not the same caliber, but you saw Please. You saw the Grok thing from last night. Like,
also, what if Frank just decides to come back and stream?
Well, then,
like,
we're gonna smash.
Get serious. Like, that's what I thought about when we were making this line. I'm like, what if like these guys just like come out of the retirement in March and they start fucking Jakey and GG and stuff? They're going to be daily runners.
I think someone was in this Grok coin last night. I don't know if folks saw this. This thing did $200 million in volume. We haven't seen that in weeks. It got to about 30 million. It looks like it peaked this morning. So it traded all night during the demon hours. And then it's just been selling off as folks have been waking up. I didn't touch this one, but I was very surprised at the volume. So this pool did 140 million, this pool did 48 million, and then another 30 million. So yeah, it did well over 200 million in a day. It wrecked Please. So Please was the recent darling. It's not, please go back up is the mantra.
Man, did you see the senator that tweeted like, I see JD Vance's face everywhere?
Yes. The meme is everywhere. In disclosure, I do hold some of this. I don't know
You
what
still have it?
Section. I do. This is a good meme, man.
It's a good meme.
It's funny. They're still out there. It's lighthearted. I have no idea what's going to happen to the coin, folks, and I'm not saying anyone should go buy it. I'm probably dumb for having some.
I like the meme though. This meme is going to stick around, I think, for this term because I don't have any, but it's so funny, man.
Sorry about that. Where is this coming from?
I just find it so funny.
Sorry, folks. Give me a.
It's so funny. You're good. Here, I can mute you from here. Boom. So far, just some statistics for you, Logan. Oh, you're back? Just some statistics for you while I'm at it. I opened the Metabase. Then we should go over the third market. Oh, but it's the UFC, so we don't really talk UFC. Anyways, Pereira and Ankalev are pretty good, but I can tell you guys a bit about what's next. But there's been 1,095 traders officially. So it's pretty big. 1,000 people have traded this market. $32,925 USDC traded. Like that's a big deal for us. Like $32,000 of volume in less than 24 hours. And there's been 1,700 trades. So it's pretty cool. Like 30,000 spent, $2,000 sold. So people are holding onto their thing, which is really cool. And the fear and greed one is really like, is the one that's getting the most amount of, individual traders because it's people off short-term market. So basically what we're going to do is once the fear and greed market closes, we have another market coming on Bitcoin price, a short-term one, which is going to be fun as well. And so we're just going to keep running these like that, like weekly prices and weekly fear and grid indexes and stuff like that. And then we're going to try and do some fun sports ones within line of what we can do. So then there's F1 next week and a few things. So we're testing and it's a lot of fun. So people should get on and try it. Was your experience good? I haven't tried because I'm not home, but was your experience good, Tyler? Like the migrating to abstract and all this stuff, like was it easy to
so I did the whole thing. So I bridged capital and then made the bets. Like you go through a few approvals like your first time. So like there's like the abstract approval messages you kind of got to get through. But once you get through that, it's clean, it's quick. Make your bets in seconds. So
love that.
I was
That's
a fan. Good. We're going to be rooting it on for sure. Wow. We only have a few minutes left in the show. Wow. We really, I'm happy we went here. A couple other stories I quickly want to hit on. Jito has a new proposal for buybacks. That's the headline. That's basically what you need to know. Buybacks are hot right now. We know what kind of impact that can have the tokens. So keep an eye on that. Logan, you've been following this Solana vote that goes live today. What's the quick TLDR on that?
Yeah, it may have an impact on Jito as well. So there's a proposal. It's supposed to go live later today, but basically to change the emission schedule of Solana inflation, more or less, right? So right now it's based on a fixed. It was set, I think, in 2021 or maybe even earlier than that. But a fixed supply emission schedule. They're looking to move that to a more programmatic, dynamic emission schedule, which would change based on basically the staking participation. So there's a lot of big technical words in there, but more or less changing the supply inflation. You'll see plenty of opinions, probably if you're following, Tolly and others about the pros and cons on your timeline. Well, don't know too much about exactly my read, just based on consuming a lot of this, is that the support outweighs the dissenters. But we don't know for sure until the actual vote takes place, which is expected to take place a little bit later today. I don't think it'll close today, but we'll get a better idea of if people want to reduce this rate or not. So
it seems like I'm reading this. It seems like Tolly's pretty for this.
Yeah, I think so. Based on, I actually reached out to ask him for a very specific answer to that. I have not received a reply yet. But based on his tweets and retweets, it does seem as if he is pro SIM. It's called SIMD, which is Solana Improvement Proposal, more or less, 0228. So I think he's pro. One of the things that's written, just to tie it into the Jito thing and maybe why that's important in addition to the buybacks, is one of the pros written by the authors, two folks from Multicoin, as well as one from Anza, which is a Solana research and development firm. One of the pros is that this may increase Solana DeFi activity. So DeFi activity. I mean, Jito, of course, major player there already. But yeah, I encourage people to read the original. I mean, it's not that crazy long. It is a little technical, of course, which is dissuading for folks that may be just active Solana participants. That's one of the biggest questions that I've asked to these folks who have provided opinions on it, is like, explain to me why this matters to me, a non-staker. You should know that, of course, if you're not staking, you're losing a little bit to the inflation. I think most people recognize that, but like, why does this matter to just the average Solana participant? That's an answer that I'm trying to get from folks. I've not received one yet, TBD. But
less sell pressure, right? Well, yeah. Less ongoing sell pressure,
potentially, right? Exactly, yeah. Things like that. But I'd like to hear it from them. So
yeah. If you look outside of the casino, there's some good stuff going on in Solana. I'm not gonna lie, like Pith and Jito, and some of these teams are really good
for sure. So that's gonna be.
Solana's holding strong too, dude. Like I've been looking at Solana like daily, like every single time it goes down to the low 130s, it's been a screaming buy. Like I did it once and it paid well. I missed the last one, but I think I'm just gonna keep running this back. Like every time I see $127, $132 sold, just fucking max bid. Sadly, you have to sell every time it goes to like this range. Yeah,
it's like it feels like buy the 130s, sell the 160 until we kind
of like I'd say even 150, bro. Like with that 150, 153 range is nasty.
Yeah, kind of feels that way. What else? We're not going to have time to give this justice, but this new New York bill aims to protect investors against rug pulls. So it's going to be very interesting how they define that, because it's a very murky world, to say the least. So like, what will have to have been promised? What minimum actions are required to avoid a rug pull? Logan, did anything come out of this? Did you have a chance to dig in?
Yeah, so I looked at the I'm sorry, I looked at the bill real quick. There are some wonky definitions in there as well, right? There's some stuff about non-disclosure, like punishing potentially for not disclosing, which I think most of us are supportive of, right? Like not disclosing and shilling, basically, is what I'm alluding to. But there's some details in there about developers and how much supply they own, and it'll be interesting to see more come from it, and hopefully a bit more clarity around exactly what those details are, which I imagine will be sussed out if this moves along. But I mean, I think most people are all for protecting investors from things like this. Like we don't want the on-chain crime, despite perhaps seeing pleas for it previously.
Well, the good news, in this new digital asset stockpile world, if there is crime and the U.S. government confiscates your assets, they're
gonna own a fuck ton of Libra, huh? I saw that tweet from dude that's like cackled, bro.
Yes, that was a great.
That's a great tweet.
So
you know what the move is you launch a token, you commit crime, you have the government sees like 80% of it, so it's low float, high FTV, and then you let 20% trading, and then what? You go hang out with SBF. Apparently, Didi's very kind to him.
That's that's the new meta. And speaking of crime, SBF somehow landing an interview from prison. It was a strange interview. I listened to the first 30 minutes of it or so. He apologizes, but basically he's kind of saying like we had a good thing going. He blames the bankruptcy lawyers for selling everything at the bottom. Basically says we would have had 90 billion in assets if they wouldn't have done that versus 17 billion in liabilities. Of course, that's assuming that they didn't do anything else shady or take any other bad bets over the course of 3 years, right? So
he said, I believe I read the Decrypt article Andre covered for us. He said, "I'm not a criminal." He's pleading what? Non-guilty, right? So
yeah, he did say that specifically. Though Tucker Carlson was like, the DOJ thinks you're a criminal, you're in jail. He did say Diddy's been nice to him.
He said that so it doesn't get looped up after that interview.
He hasn't been beaten yet.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a little bit. He pisses me the fuck off. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I was talking to Sandra yesterday. I was like, have you ever interviewed someone that you despise? And he said, of course. And I have as well. But I wonder, like, at what point do you break that? And you're like, yo, fuck you. Like, I feel like if I were to interview SBF, I would do well, but I'm afraid that I would, like, at some point just, like, break down. Like, I really despise this guy.
Well, that's the problem, right? If someone listens to this who does not have a deeper knowledge of the situation,
they think he's a good guy because he's so good at the social side.
It's easy to get on his side.
He sounds he's weird. He sounds very childlike. Like, he has this, like if you don't know anything about him, like, he comes off as like this innocent, poor little child that was put in prison because he made the wrong mistake, but he's got good mommy and daddy, but he's evil. He's really evil,
And he like didn't
and all
walk
of a sudden
back.
he beats Biden. You were telling me that he walked back all the Biden stuff, right?
He did, yeah. So he basically said, yes, I donated to Biden, but I was secretly donating to Republicans, and then the Dems threw me under the bus, basically, is what he said. Okay. So he's clearly doing this apology tour to try to get pardoned. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I feel like it's non-zero that's going to happen.
Oh, man.
For one, just the fact this interview happened makes me think it's non-zero at this point in time. So we'll certainly see. It's 10. We're on the hour mark, Folk. I know you've got a busy day.
Let's
should
do
we
it.
Roll spins? Again,
Let's go. I'm ready. Susan's ready.
Markets is the code. Let's get it up and going. Let's win some.
Markets. Hell yeah.
Let's win some digital assets today.
Let's win some digital assets, bro. All right. Let's go.
Will Mustard.
Will Mustard! Mustard! Two winners, right? Mustard!
OMB. One up. Oh, there you go. That was fast. We like when they're fast.
And then there's going to be a second winner. Second winner. Israel. All right.
Israel. IFITREL. Come on up. Hit that request button.
All right. Is it Raul? Is he on stage? I'm not on. I should have come. My bad. But we have, is it Raul? We have Mustard.
All right. I think I see them. Yes.
Is it Raul? Make sure you come on up.
Yep. They're up here.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen in 1 second. And we are going to get ready. Let me make sure nothing's sold. Okay. Nothing sold. So today we have the usual Punk. Where's my trio? Punk, Pudgy, and Rack Guy. All right. So who's for his Mustard, right?
Mustard.
All right. Are we ready? Let's go. Oh! Oh!
No way!
Oh, shit!
Right from DC.
Oh, shit! Live from DC!
What?
Mustard, do you want a punk?
Let's go!
Holy shit. Y'all are
Let's
crazy.
go!
Dude, that's a nice punk.
Dude, that's incredible. Thank you guys so much. Oh my God.
Wow. Is that the third punk win for Oak?
Holy shit! Yes!
Wowza.
Sorry, I'm freaking out. Mustard, congrats, dude.
$90,000.
Dude, I'm freaking out, dude. Holy shit.
Mustard! You just want a punk.
Let's go, dude.
You-
Hell yeah.
Wow.
You just made $90,000, brother.
Dude, you just got me out the trenches. Thanks so much.
That's
Wow.
incredible. Well, enjoy your punk. The team will coordinate with you after the show.
Yeah. All right. Let me stop sharing. I just have to replace the punk now in the box. 1 second. I just have to put another punk because it replaces it with cash. Hold on. All right. Is it Rel? I mean, yo, you know.
Can we run it
still
back?
want
Is
a
it
punk
real?
too. And it's sold. So the punks. Oh, yo. Holy shit, bro.
Man, double
Holy
punks on
shit.
SBR day. Why not? You know, this is very
What?
fitting that we gave away a punk on the Strategic Reserve Day.
All right, let me replace it with another punk. Yeah, actually, it's fitting. You called it. You said later, so we agree. Oh, I'm freaking out. Sorry. Wow, this is insane. I wasn't there for the last punk hit. Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. I have to fix the box because
Hey,
when it
guys.
sells. What's up,
Hey,
bro? Are
hey.
you ready to win a punk as well? All right, 1 second. Add item. Boom, crypto punk. Let me put it back. It was 3%. It was a 3% chance to win a punk. Like, it's not that high either, you know? Okay. All right. Is it Rel? Are you ready?
Man, guy hits a 3%. All right, Israel.
Come on.
Here we go.
Well, you got a red guy. Oh, that's a sick one. Damn. Congratulations. Yo, that's a. Okay, yeah. This is sick. Yeah, this is a mid-tier one. So it's not even floor. So it's fire. So it's like two good back-to-back hits. You'd love to see that. We retired someone from the trenches. Please, Mustard, for the love of God, do not put this money back in the trenches. You got this. You got this. Oh my God.
That's
Wow.
gonna end up, yeah, I don't know, dude. Punks are. I might have to hold that punk for a while.
You
dude.
should
Punks
hold
are-
it. Yes.
Punks are gonna go crazy.
Yeah, start building your own little strategic punk reserve, my friend.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Well,
Wow.
folks, what a way to end the show. Giving away a $90,000 crypto punk. This is why you tune in. One of the very many reasons why you tune into FOMO Hour every day, Monday to Friday. As for today, that's going to be it. That's our show. I want to thank our listeners, thank our partners, thank Farouk live from DC, taking time away to chill with us. Farouk, good luck out there. Good luck at the White House
Thank
today.
you. Thank you. I'm
Big-
excited.
Big day. Good luck to all of us. Let's have some positive news come out later today.
Let's go.
We will be back Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern to break it all down. Till then, go make it a great day. Goodbye.
Let's go.